Welcome everybody to the Belvista Studios Show. This is a show where we get to learn from people that are doing cool things, different things, innovative things, just anything that might inspire us to think differently about how we approach the learning solutions that we're creating. And my guest today is return guest, Lin Wong. Thank you for being here. People will remember you from the show, which was part of the learning conference, where you did exceptionally well and came in freaking hell, mate. You did so well. And along what you demonstrated was really strong design skills, really strong UI, like user interface skills, and instructional design. So it's like a trio combo slayer, I reckon.
Thank you.
Lin the Slayer.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, that's like a long time ago, isn't it? But it was a crazy experience for me because I was not used to like showcasing my work, I think, to a lot of people. But it was such a great like competition, and then just like from you guys, it's just amazing, and then definitely gave me a great start. I felt like to eventually like becoming independent freelancer and contractor. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're checking in with you along your journey now, along over like a year and a half later. And you've made the decision to go freelance, you're consulting, you've got some projects under your belt, producing good projects. And I stumbled across the particular thing that you're going to show today. I was Googling for ideas and got onto the 7 Taps website and saw your project. And I don't know anything really about 7 Taps, but I loved the topic that you had designed on and the solution. So yeah, basically this show is about seeing inspiring solutions, and Lin did one on scarcity versus abundance mindset, and it's a topic that I think is just really cool, and you've done it in a nice way. So I'll throw over to you to share your process, where your mind was at, what you were working on, how it came about.
Sure. I'll just share the screen. It's well, thank you for like putting a spotlight onto this mini project. This project wasn't interesting. It's been like a year and a half too, I think. This project was an interesting piece because I was in the beginning of my journey doing freelancing, contracting, etc. And I was in this very like imposter kind of mindset where no, I could not possibly make more than I've already done. And then like, how can I even like offer my service to other people? And with this particular course, so it's almost like a kind of personal note to myself to remind myself, like I want it to be something that I can easily, constantly look at or refer to when I'm in the mindset, like a negative mindset where I can't do this. So it was kind of like I was on my own like journey, like researching, reading like articles about having that abundance mindset. So this little piece here is kind of almost like a personal manifesto, like you could say. So when I first created, I remember when I look at 7 Taps, they've already had their own templates in their design, and it was it's very easy to use, and I really like their templates as well because it's so polished, and it just you can, I feel like any content you put in there, you look good already. So there is not much. I don't think there is much customization required. You can, but you don't need that. Like you can just easily create a course, and then I think that's what I was trying to aim. I was intently purposely like avoiding creating too much custom designs, just to use their own like already made template. So I chose this template, a particular template, and I also added I think 1 or 2 image from other resources like this one. So just to give a bit of context of the course itself, like what I intended to do for the course, I wanted to begin it with a bit of a scenario for the learner, kind of giving them a bit of a context of where they at by giving a particular situation. In this case, I wanted to say to the learner, like wait, okay, just a pause and just thinking that you're a runner, you're in a race, and then kind of stating them a little bit the situation, escalating the situation a little bit by using their this sort of like an audio. I don't know if they could the audio, you can hear the audio from this recording, but it's basically saying, just attention everyone, like get ready to race, etc. And you know, kind of adding on, you're gonna win this race, this is the prize, and stating like the emotional state that you're supposed to be in, which is you really want this and you've prepared and worked hard for months for this. So setting up the context, kind of create this scenario for them to think that you're in this race, and then later on realizing that the learner lose the race and then somebody else won the race. And again, here I kind of using this audio as a media to emphasize on that situation, saying, oh, you know, like, ladies and gentlemen, like Mike won the competition, etc. And then you like basically saying to the learner, you're not in the second position, you're not in third position. You know, I was trying to emphasize on the like a context to create an emotional journey.
I definitely feel that. I feel bummed now reading this.
Like you want to win, but you don't. And then and then they like a bit of this like a question to check in. Like I want it to be like for them to check in what their state of mind at this stage after going into a situation. Because I think I realized that a lot of time where I feel defeated or in a place where things are not going ahead as they planned, and you know, I'd be like, oh, it must be my fault. I didn't do something right, like, you know, something I've done something wrong, and like you know, I'm not gonna do it again. Just and I also realized that that's the first important step, is just to realizing where we like the state of mind is at that stage. So
how did you figure that out in terms of the content design, like that it was, I need people to build that awareness?
I think I was reading a lot of I was reading some articles about this mindset thing, obviously, to do this. And then and I think I also had conversation with my husband about, you know, I feel like in a different situation where I felt, oh, I feel this, I feel negative, I feel, you know, I feel down. And he would like ask me back, like, why do you think you feel that way? You know, like this kind of, I think, like thought-provoking questions that can make me really think again about like, why, like, why do I feel that way? And if, you know, would it matter, and things like that, like, would it matter in 5 years from now? Like all these like very reflective questions. So like it sounds very personal, and but I feel like probably a lot of people can relate to that because they're probably in the same situation, like a lot of time probably in the same situations. But yeah, for me, it was definitely a bit of a personal journey that reflects from here. And I think from the article that I was reading, there was this obviously explaining that different mindset, scarcity and abundance. And I was kind of like identifying, okay, this was like what kind of thinking would consider to be abundance of scarcity. And I was identifying within myself, and I guess that's what I was trying to apply here as well with all these like options. Like if it's very negative and it's just very pessimistic, and then I think you can read through from, oh, this was never going to happen. It's kind of like black and white kind of thing. And which like in the next step, then it kind of wrap up where showing them now what's the difference between the abundance and then the scarcity, which I really want to kind of show it in a very how to say, like a kind of bullet point, kind of bullet list reading, like has to be a quick read, one line kind of content. So like here with abundant mindset, you believe there's plenty of fish in the ocean, be it career, work, and relationships. And I was trying to also integrate that graphic and animation, like as relevant as possible. There's also another thing where I was trying to do with the graphics. I was trying to use the graphics all from 7 tabs, and I use it in the layout of a full screen. So I did that on purpose to make it more consistently full screen, and also consciously use select all the characters as women. If they're not cartoon, all the characters are women. But each selection is, I'm trying to relate it as much as possible with the content. So love what you do, feel confident, happy to share it with others, show gratitude. And then the next one, it's the next chapter in showing the scarcity mindset. Basically, it's more a negative mindset where you're judging others and criticizing other people's successes. And I think a lot probably subconsciously, like they don't probably do that, but like there is kind of with other people's successes, when they're in the scarcity mindset, I think, there's no space for me to win, like the winning spot has been taken away, and they may not express it, and you may not realize it yourself, but there is sometimes like a kind of feeling, like I wish it was me, I was not that person. And it's not like I feel like it's a natural thing for anyone to feel when they're in that state of mind. But like all this like mind is can still be changed. And then the third chapter here, we goes into this like why our mindset matter. Before we go ahead, do you have any questions? I feel like I'm just like,
no, this is good, I'm following.
Right, okay.
I'll interrupt if I have a burning question.
Yes, okay, good. So I felt like after a bit of like content, like information dump here, like a little check in there, like before starting on a new content, I kind of wanted to see what do they think, like for the learner themselves too, to realize like what do they think for themselves, what mindset means for them. So it's like a quick kind of survey, like checking question, if they think it's something that is they're born with, or it can be changed, or it can be influenced in many way. And after that, I continue with also still like kind of bullet points that technically our mindset can be changed, and it affect our emotional being. It could also be a factor contributes to our success and health. And then at the end, the last chapter, I talk about how to change from that scarcity and abundance, which everyone have their own ways to do that. But then again, like I want it to be like a quick bullet point reminder that I think like I talk about from the beginning, like being aware of the current mindset, which like I sometimes struggle to like to articulate, like you could feel it, but you don't really able to articulate it. And so being aware of that, and then focus on what you already have and what you love doing at the moment. And then fighting negative self-talk. And I find it's the most difficult because I think like even for myself, like sometimes there's this like guilt pleasure of like doing self-negative talk.
Yeah.
Not chocolate, but this one is a negative talk.
I definitely have the chocolate one.
And choosing like the information that is useful for you, like for myself, like social media has just been like for example, for me, social media, like I realized how much it influencing the way I think, and I'm trying to realize that and control that, if like because I know I can, and then and then you can also set up like goals for yourself to keep you focused, to get to where you are, and then sharing with others. I find that talking about the minds, like what you're thinking, and having this constructive discussion with others, I find it very useful, because then it gives you different perspective of where things stand, and you might also get input from others. But yeah, it's the way I structured the content. So like came from a lot of this articles that I put in the reference, but also before I created this, I already had in mind on like even my own experience and trying to reflect that in the content.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in terms of visual, like I said before, like I was not trying to go overboard with that, trying to keep it clean, keep it short, but still kind of thinking about design principles throughout the content. And yeah, like I guess that without realizing, it becomes like micro-learning that it can easily be digested anywhere.
Definitely.
But yeah, I feel like my process was like quite straightforward for this. Do you have any question, Kim?
You say it is like straightforward, but I think there's a lot behind the scenes probably to unpack, because I know, so you had a personal motivation on this topic. So you're trying to solve your own problem. You're probably out there reading for hours and exposing yourself to lots of content. But to get to such a small bite-sized piece of learning is like, I'd be curious to know how you got there, because what you have here is a really practical, useful, need to know information course. So you start with the story, set the scene, get the emotions, and then go straight into, you've got scarcity, you've got abundance, and here's how you move from one to the other. That's essentially the framework of your course. Do you know how you were able to get it to the dot points, like you're saying? Because you would have researched so much. Even a TED talk, like as one of your reference points, TED talks are, I don't know, 8 minutes, just say minimum. There'd be so much content. So how do you pick, this is what needs to go into my tiny course?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to remember how I get it that short. I think from the beginning of the creation, I already thought about what was I guess lacking in terms of how can I get to that like what is it that makes me like what I'm scared of, I guess, in terms of that mindset, and why can't I go to become an like abundant mindset, like having the abundant mindset, which obviously there's so many ways to do it, but I feel like it was for me, it was kind of like, oh, I needed to understand what that means in a practical way. And I think in general, I just like to have a kind of very short, kind of actionable list when it comes to even creating a summary or like an instruction, like a short instruction. Sometimes it can, even for myself, I find it like I could go to the point where it can get a bit dry. But I feel like in general, when I create a content, I like it when it's straight to the point, and when it's and grabbing the content that makes sense to me, that fulfill like what I was lacking of in the beginning.
So the
I don't know if
gaps.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I
you're
guess
identifying the gaps.
yeah, so I guess it's kind of like feeling that learning objectives, and then where can I like what informations I needed to get to like where I needed to be.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds like it's your learning objective is move from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. You've gone out and researched, you probably had summary notes like for your own personal journey, like, oh, that quote really resonated, or I really like that like step of meditating, for example. These resources helped me. And then it was like, okay, well, out of your own personal summary notes or the research that you do, you have then gone, which of these will help me meet that learning objective? And that's what ended up in your course as like kind of your rough draft, I guess, your first draft.
Yeah. And I think I also realized that I think like many people, like in like many learners, we have like short attention span. And then there's only so much that you remember, like that, and especially only those that spark emotions to you. And I guess that's how I also try to kind of capture the content, like what are the content that I would like I remember from this like summary of from this draft.
I imagine as well, does 7 Taps have like a character limit? Because that's quite a nice limiting like constraint for yourself. Like I know we use PowerPoint to constrain an e-learning module, but if the character limits are there, or you're thinking just how long is a tweet, how can I get this across in a tweet?
That's actually a very good point, because I remember, I think one of the question, probably the first one, where it actually quite long, or like here, even here, like now I'm looking at it, it could be shorter. But like you're right, definitely the character limitation as well, that you makes me make you think that, okay, like I only have that much space, like, you know, how could I possibly fit it in with something that is the most effective? So I think there's that too. So I think knowing the format and knowing the its capabilities also is probably the biggest like a part of it too in developing content.
In 7 Taps, how many of those little cards can you have? Is it unlimited, or do they limit it to like 30? Or
it's unlimited. Actually, I haven't gone to their website for a while. And I feel like they might have changed a lot of the feature to be better, but I think It's unlimited cost, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it doesn't say for the free one, it doesn't say how many slides, only share course. I think these plans are all new.
Okay.
I have to plug in and do that. But yeah,
No, that's all
I
right.
guess, yeah.
If people are using this tool, but it might be a good another constraint for people is like thinking, if I want to get this across in literally 7 taps or 10 slides or whatever it is, and then putting that constraint on yourself and then saying this is the character limit per slide or per screen, how can I get this across? I think that helps you, creates a stressful situation for you as an instructional designer to then go and really identify the need to know information.
Yeah, exactly. So I think sometimes like yeah, having a limitation is probably a good thing. Yeah, because like what you said with the PowerPoint, and then you can put endless like slides and content, like people tend to just put any content there.
Yeah, we've noticed that if it's a Word document, because Word documents naturally scroll down, they just keep typing and typing. It doesn't mean that it's valuable, but when it is constrained to a rectangle that doesn't go anywhere else, then you are thinking, what should I put in and what should I not put in?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess also because when you're on your mobile, like because you can't scroll down here, so you also have to be conscious about like when people like scrolling to the right and reading like small content on your mobile.
Scrolling, swiping is what you're doing.
Swiping, yes.
I just want to summarize some of the good things that I recognize, just to encourage people to take note if they haven't already picked up on it, for them to apply. I love the first slide. It starts with you, like you are running a race or whatever the specific language is, but that really captures your attention, because you're like straight away, you've just gone from title screen to, hey, accountability is on you right now. So that is a very effective framing. Instead of like saying we or they, it's always you. Talk to the learner in first person. Another thing that you've got is visuals reinforcing the text. So that is just helping, like the fish, that, you know, that was really cool. The abundance, so many fish out there. The key messaging reinforced by the visuals. Yeah, plenty of fish in the ocean. And then you see this swarm of fish and you're like, oh my God, there's just, you can't even see water basically, because there's just so much there. So that's also very effective, whether it's icons, images, or videos. One thing that's really cool is your quiz is very intentional. And I assume one of the learning objectives, just based on what you're telling me, is like it is about building self-awareness, because that was the first step of one of your tips as well, is be self-aware. And so if that's one of your learning objectives, your quiz is very intentional, because you're saying there's no right or wrong. Just think for yourself, where are you currently at? So just thinking about how you can be intentional with your quiz. Is it about a particular pass mark? And why is the pass mark what it is? 80%, 100%, 0, not marked in the first place. And just figuring that out, I think, helps you build better learning content. What else did I have? I recognize this, whether you did it intentionally or not, is are you familiar with Allen's interactions, the CAF model, CCAF?
Might have heard of it, but not
so it's unintentional. I think it's really effective. And I'll put the link in the description. I will. Gather round, children. So it's how you write activities for e-learning, for example. And what you've done really well is there was the context. So you're running a race, or you're about to run a race. There's a challenge which comes up, you know, you've got the sound effect counting you down. the challenge is you want to win it because you want to go to Hawaii, and then you make I don't know if it got to this point, but this probably plays out for the rest of the course. Maybe it's an overall framework, is the action that somebody takes, you're doing it through reflection, encouraging them to build their own tips or things that they can put in place to move from scarcity to abundance mindset, and then feedback as well. So I think that context and challenge is really, really impactful, and you've done that very well. And I'd love to know, because how you've done that, the impact is that emotional thing that I spoke about, where I was like, yeah, I'm bummed, like I didn't even come third or fourth. Like, you've really hit me there, because everyone thinks that they're just, I'm gonna win, or I'm at least gonna get a medal, and then you've just hit us with, no, you haven't. And I literally am like, how did you write that particular example to have that impact? Or what are some things that you use as your own checklist to have an emotional impact in a story you create?
I feel like I guess tragedy would be dramatic, but there should be like an irony, I guess, like where presenting a more challenge, I guess, that to the learner to get to where they want to be. I feel like because of the content of the limitation of 7 tabs, you can only put so much. Like, now that I'm reading it, it's like from a year and a half later, I'm thinking like I could probably even dramatize the emotional, state a bit more. But like, I guess you like first, like obviously the context, like where you are, and like where you are and what you're doing, and then your goal is important. But yeah, I was like I think I was just thinking about how would I feel, like if I was in that position, what would like really make me sad, and or kind of down. Like, I mean, obviously, like if you're in a competition, you want to be number 1. And then if you're number 2, number 3, okay, like, at least I got something out of it. But then if you're not winning at all, or maybe like if you're you get disqualified, like maybe even more dramatic, like I think I was reflecting a lot, I think, in that to creating that content, like what would make me really, really, like just down and even depressed, which is probably terrible. But I think that in creating context for the learner, you I guess you want to have that as much impact, because it's in such a short period of time. You want to be able to like bring them into the story, and then spark emotional reaction to it. So I think that's where my head was, like how to get it the as effective as possible in like short content.
Do you use any storytelling frameworks? Like, a lot of people are like beginning, middle, and end, but is there anything else that you use to help you script a story like that, or a scenario?
It's probably bad, because I feel that they're asking me this, I don't have like a structure. But yeah, like for me, definitely the context, and then the context of the situation, for sure. And then just definitely like there has to be like a challenge, like what you mentioned as well. And for me, it's like inserting the emotional state of mind is I feel like it's a must have, or else it just feels dry. But I don't think I have a certain framework, and now that I'm talking to you about it, I probably should have.
No, it sounds like it's automatic for you, like you're checking those boxes. You might not have thought about it as a specific framework before, but you've definitely got some thinking, because it wouldn't be that effective otherwise. It's like, what impact do you want to have on the person? What are you trying to change about them? You're empathizing as well, like how can I dramatically create an emotional impact
Mm.
on them. So there's a few checklists.
Yeah, definitely. Like, while thinking about that, also thinking about, I guess, who the learner is, and then like where they are and who they are. I think, I probably have subconsciously have a framework,
You
but I'm
definitely
probably
do.
not like I'm probably not articulating it enough.
We're not going to get the Lin way today, but maybe you'll trademark it in the future.
Maybe. And they'll be like asking, like, what is it? So, it's in the cloud. You probably don't realize it, but it's there.
You need to use your name as an acronym. It needs to be like learning objective, intention, and then
yes, it's almost
necessary.
Yeah.
Necessary, emotional, throat punch.
Oh, now I get inspired. I should really use
come
that.
back to us. Come back to us.
Yeah.
We want royalties. Nah. So what did I want to ask you? You've mentioned a few times looking back. I asked you one because I thought this was a particularly good piece of learning. And you've mentioned, so I think it's good already, but you've made a few comments saying, oh, I'd change this next time. What sort of things would you do to take it next level?
I mean, first, I think this content, I mean, not like, this content I find a bit long, but then again, like, when you want, I think you're trying to convey, it's like a movie, like when you don't want to cut too much because then you lose the emotional build up. I wonder if, I guess this one is, I wonder if I would make it short or kind of write it in a different way. I think in the, like I mentioned before, like the context and the emotional building, I wonder if I would add a bit more kind of a bit more emotional, I guess, baggage or like drive there, maybe involving like, and I'm just throwing out ideas, maybe family or things.
There's no right or wrong.
Like, because here, like, I'm only stated, you prepared, work hard for months and you want to win this, but like now I'm looking back at this and just like, is that actually enough? Because for me, when I created it, it was enough, but maybe if I build up a bit more, I wonder if that would make a difference. But those are probably the things that I would change. But I'm still very happy with the bullet points because that's how I like it when I read content as well. Because when I read this and like I remember like like how I felt at the time when I creating it, so it's kind of pretty much capture what I wanted to. Have
you noticed when you have slipped back into a scarcity mindset, have you gone and had a look at this course again?
Maybe once or twice. I did, but not recently. Probably in the maybe last year, maybe at the beginning of my freelancing journey. I wouldn't say that I am like fully zen now and like and like peace with myself, but I feel like I'm feeling more peaceful with my current situation now. Like I'm trying to enjoy what I'm doing. So I guess I'm in this where is it? Oh, I don't know if it's there, but I'm appreciating what I have right now. And I'm loving my situation as well at the moment, and loving what I do. So I guess I managed to make peace with the situation.
You exposed yourself to learning, you then took the necessary actions that it represented, you did your refreshers while you were building the habit, and now you're reaping the benefit of that learning.
For sure. I'm not where I want what I want to be 100% yet, but I feel like I'm stopped, like feeling like I feel better about like I'm trying to enjoy my work, my situation at the present moment without worrying too much. But yeah, so I guess the course works for me.
Woo, tick. That's really cool. Any other specific micro learning tips that you have learned since building this course that you'd encourage people to consider or take action on?
Oh, giving tips is always hard. I guess that with micro learning, it's always good to create a like one goal and then try to stick with it, because I think I did try to I had another mini project that I'm working on, and then I realized that okay, it's supposed to be short, but then now it's like the content is like long, because now I realize okay, like I want to present everything now, but I think I have to go back to and typical when that happens is I lose track of my goal, so I have to reflect back to like what I actually want to say. So but I guess in like any other course, not only micro learning, you just have to always reflect, think back about your goals.
I agree. What is my intent? In our storyboard template, which people can download, I'll put it in the description as well actually, is so we have a success statement, the learning overarching project goal, whatever it is, and the learning objectives are mapped specifically to that. But how we actually get the learning objectives, so we got success statement, and then we drill down. The learning objectives are part of it, like key themes or key objectives, and then we might get 3 learning objectives or 5. But as we move through the storyboard, we are encouraging that learning objective to be copied and pasted onto each screen, so that when the instructional designer is writing the content or coming up with the scenario, every sentence is cross-checked back, like it's on the top of their screen. This is what you're trying to achieve right now. So make sure it meets that need. Otherwise, it doesn't need to go in this place in the course, or it doesn't have a place at all. So that accountability is really important, and especially for micro learning. Very cool. Well, this has been fabulous. Lots of showing of good micro learning and lots of tips. So thank you so much, Lin. I'm very grateful we had the opportunity to learn with you today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And it's also like I had a good chat with you, and then it was great to see from your perspective too, because I was like, oh, maybe it's been a while. I wonder if I lost my touch over this course, but you kind of put it back there, and like I see things where you see now.
Well, it's because I didn't realize it was that long ago that you made it, but it's very timely and it still suits, like it's relevant now. So I think that's an effective course. So well done.
Thank you.
So I encourage people to keep, like, the link will be in the description. You can go play with the course itself and just break down how she did it. Figure out the Lin way, like the framework,
the hidden framework.
But thank you so much for what you've shared and for all the inspiration and tips that you share online as well.
My pleasure.
I know that people find them very, very helpful, especially with your design mindset as well. I think that comes through really nicely in how you phrase things, from like the text, but also the design element. And thank you everyone for choosing to learn with us at Belvista Studios. We are very, very grateful for everyone that likes a post, everyone that shares the post with someone, everyone that just chooses to sit down and watch this video from start to finish. So thank you always for choosing to learn with us, and have an awesome day. If you do actually create something that's inspired by Lin's work, we encourage you to tag it in the post so we can check it out and see the impact that this has had.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
What's up, awesome human? Thank you on behalf of myself
and the Belvista Studios team for continuously choosing to learn with us. We really appreciate it. If the tips and the insights and the context resonate with you and you want to take your skills to the next level, or you want to make your life way easier, you will love our Creator Hub. The Creator Hub is a place for people like you and us. Basically, it's the stuff that we use internally at Belvista Studios, and then we just share it publicly with you. The Creator Hub is created by instructional designers for instructional designers, and what you'll love there at the moment is we've got a quiz, could I be a better instructional designer, that has so much tips in the feedback if you're interested in human-centered design or just taking your skills to the next level in terms of the solutions you're creating and the problems you want to solve. But in there as well, aren't we cute? That's us. But we've got the coaching courses, freebies, give us gratitude, and also we've got some templates. And basically they're always around the lens of learning experience design, instructional design, and e-learning. So a human-centered design focus is very much what we're about at Belvista Studios. So putting your learners at the heart of a solution and creating something for their needs. So there's the human-centered design stuff, and then we've also got the business stuff. So this is the stuff they don't teach you about when you want to become a freelancer or a consultant in the instructional design world. So go check it out. The link is in the description. You can check out everything that is available for you. Thank you for choosing to learn with us. Continuously invest in your skills. You will be rewarded as an instructional designer. Share this stuff, share it with other people, because when we are better instructional designers, we create better solutions that create better humans, that create a better world. So we have a very important role, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Have an awesome day.